I'm normally good about that, but I forgot this go around. That's my bad. By the way, Benny, remember how I said earlier that both these teams are kind of like, they love their Valk bans?
Yeah.
Which team do you think is going to ban Valk?
Well, we see Maverick banned out first. I think it's gonna be One Shot. They're gonna ban Valkyrie first, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's
Do you
what
think,
I think.
I also saw on Twitter in between the games that Prod suggested that you ban, oh, actually, never mind. I was gonna say ban Sledge, but then I realized that One Shot is banning Sledge. So Giddy has kneecapped himself. Interesting strategy. That's obviously a joke. Giddy can play more than one op. I was joking because of the tweet. Oh, and look, it's IF to ban the Valkyrie. So One Shot could be a little bit more flexible with their defensive ban. Normally we saw them be, I think they banned a different attacker every week in the group stage. Ban Valkyrie every single time. So this go around, what are they going to be? It's going to be a Mira? No, it's going to be an Echo. That makes sense because I mean, I feel like Arrow played Echo like over the day, like last map, but over the day as well. Just played a lot of Echo.
He played on Clubhouse, played it on Cafe, played it on every map pretty much, really. It's not crazy to see.
Well, it's also funny, kind of in the same vein as the Sledge ban. Not only is players like Giddy and Storms both good at Sledge, but in the same vein for Echo, not only has Arrow played a lot of it, but last time One Shot played Chalet, Quartz played a lot of Echo as well. So this is both those ops are kind of mainstays of not only both teams' attack but both teams' defenses as well. So kind of funny how things work out.
Yeah, that's kind of weird that IF banned Echo on this, and then it was One Shot to ban Sledge here. It's definitely interesting to see how it's going to pan out. Oh,
my brain just broke. I was like, oh yeah, it's been a long day. Giddy, One Shot, I in the name. One looks like an I. Same thing.
It's been a long day.
It's a stick with like a point at the top. Like, same thing. But going forward here, one thing I will say is that saw the Flores ban last map. This was the map I said that we saw Flores on. Specifically, we saw Storms play the Flores on Chalet against Okami in week number 2. It's exactly what we're seeing here. We mentioned how Swaylin was unshackled from Hard Breach on Cafe and dropped a near 20 bot. He's on Hard Breach again. He's on Thermite. So.
He's been relegated to Thermite.
He has been relegated once again, rewarded for his performance by playing Thermite. Which, to be fair, he's a top 5 rated player on, so that's not a bad thing.
That's not really. So yeah, we see, of course, IF creating this usual setup. Mirrors available so they can put those mirror windows facing towards that office, that office wall, pushing into pillar. That's we've seen that in the past pretty well for teams where they can just stop that push into pillar, make it difficult. On top of having the shields and the shield inside of pillar, just makes it so annoying, and especially because if you're pushing from that far north side over to the south side, as usually teams do, and we see One Shot doing already as he started off, and Slam Cams is watching them jumping in the window, so they know they're pushing in, and this is gonna be that first push. And I'm assuming One Shot's just gonna wait and see how fast it takes or how slow it takes for One Shot to clear out all these deployable shields and utility.
Speaking of utility, Arrow just put up his second black mirror, and little does he know, he likely will now, but Slip was very close up on that doorway, peeking in through piano, spotted Arrow just as he was putting that black mirror up. What we're seeing right now from One Shot is actually maybe an op change here or there, but I think almost the exact same attack they were running all the way back in week 2 against Okami. On specifically Baron games, they like to go from solar, clear out the entire map, use that Flores to clear out those shields or make playing behind those mirror windows a little bit more difficult. But it seems to be about the same game plan they're going for, which is if IF have done their homework, would likely be ready for. They have that mirror windows to stop them pushing in from piano, make the push into taking library a lot more difficult, and forcing them to rotate over to this backside, play these windows, which can sometimes not be the best position to try to work as the attack.
Yeah, the Flores Jones should work, the Rotero Jones should make quick work of the shield on top of the, the top blue stairs, as long as somebody isn't playing library to shoot it off. I think Inrio, though, is there to shoot. Yeah, he's there inside of pillar to destroy those Flores, those Rotero Jones as they push towards that shield. So really, there's that 3-pronged triangle here that's working together to make it difficult for One Shot. But I say that the shield destroyed. RL still playing the blue stairs. Great shot on the slippery to start us off, and Giddy going for a long flank on the backside. Does One Shot have intel of his flank?
That is the question. They have the E1D to stop him, but the execute might happen before Giddy is even able to get his flank off. We saw Quartz prepping outside of that game's window, ready jumping in, or that bar window, excuse me, ready to jump on in, but he hasn't done it just yet. In fact, he decides to rotate in through the mudroom window, and unfortunately, Arrow is there waiting with open arms for him to jump in. Storms will finally get the first kill for One Shot so far, but things have already collapsed far beyond Oh, the place where one kill can really turn things in your favor. Him and Swaylin are a little bit separated right now. Swaylin will spot the head of one. It's a good kill. One of the players playing inside of stock, but not
Oh,
only is there one player still inside of there, but Subarctic is creeping up these stairs, gone completely on red. Got one kill, not the second. That's in Rio's domain. But IF's first defensive win on a map that's not too favorable to the defense. Not a bad place to start again.
well, you say that, but this is usually the site that the defense wins. Is only that site.
We don't need to talk about that part.
But
Don't need to discuss that. No need to be so negative one round in.
either way, so great start so far from the side of IF. Really big for them to get that first pick because Arrow, even though Shield's gone, Arrow still peeks to those the flames of the Vulcan Shield, gets the first pick for his team, and by time members like Sabartic and them if I got the first pick for one shot, it was IF time and times again to just deal with those players upstairs to get those kills to make it difficult. You saw like players jumping the code check, jumping upstairs, losing life after life to IF. So great job. And we actually go to the basement for our next site, which has only been played a number of times by certain teams, and most times usually those teams do win it per se, but there's been times where it's gone catastrophically wrong for those teams though too.
It is kind of an odd site in CL because we're always like, oh, basement, this site is not good. And then a lot of the times, the team does seem to win it, like, in an oddly confounding fashion. So maybe it's a little bit better than we're giving it credit for, but the main way you win this site is based on the roam, which is likely what Inrio and Subarctic and maybe even, or probably Arrow's role is going to be. I know CJ Racing worries about Arrow on the roam. This is a site where if he isn't performing well on that roam, it's really going to hurt them because how make or break it can be holding positions like Dining that we see Inrio in right now, holding that hatch to stop players pushing in from the big garage side. So if they don't hold it well, and if Arrow isn't up to snuff, or even if Inrio Subarctic isn't up to snuff, that could prove problematic, and that would be the main way you lose that basement defense, if that roam fails.
Very true. Yeah, I guess because especially once they get opened up the red hall over by Wine Cellar, and if you have control of the hatch, like you said, it's so difficult for the defense to try and retake Wine Cellar. There's not a lot of angles you can really push from, especially if you people open up the garage. You have the garage cut off. You have people outside of the hatch. If you on the red hall, or if you open the wall at the far side into garage, the far north side, there's way too many angles that the attackers can create on this downstairs defense, which is why the roam is so important to at least waste time, make it difficult, waste most of the round. And of course, trench is gonna be the first one. They're gonna push in the trench, try and get that red wall open up this wall from from the north side over in. That's the first step as always, but they have to go upstairs and deal with the player on the hatch and get the garage open. Just cutoffs is what they need here. Picks is what they need. And the question is IF going to be aggressive here if they just rush in? Because the thing is, there's a lot of roamers upstairs. This could be a chance for them to try and just rush in.
Thankfully for one shot, in stark contrast to the previous round, the utility game is working pretty well. These Rotero drones are having impact, destroying these mute jammers, shields, anything like that. But again, as you said, that roam, what are they going to do about that roam? There are a couple players playing upstairs right now, 3 on the site currently, so they will still have the majority of players to deal with downstairs on that first floor, I think. Well, actually, I might be wrong in saying that. I thought I saw 3 orange. But either way, we do have Subarctic and Inrio still sitting up top, so plenty of time for them to retake this position and Dining if they have not been properly, or if their presence has not been properly minimized. And that's sort of the issue right now, is if they can move on that Dining hatch, because Kilo could walk on in. In fact, that could very well be what he does momentarily. Send a Finka burst and push on through that breach. But now it's a little bit more safe. Swaylin has found Subarctic, one of the 2 players on the roam. Arrow has rotated back to site, and it's all left up to Inrio to be that presence on the roam to make things work. It's not him to fall, it's Giddy instead. A nade steals his fate. Inrio is finally taken down. Arrow and Vivid, the only one left, one inside a blue, the other inside a garage. Vivid has 9 Shumika grenades to shoot, but with no info on where the bomb is going down, he might damage Kilo, but he won't even do that either. It's Swaylin the first to fall, but Vivid's put on the floor soon after to avenge the thermite. And Arrow's the only one left, and not in a good position either. He's got to run out from blue, and if he runs out to garage, he can pick up his teammate, waste a little bit of time, but the moment they push into wine, there's 4 players all likely watching the very door or sets of doors they can enter from. Arrow will manage to spot one, but it's Vivid to end up falling directly behind him. He'll rotate back out, try to take the long angle, misses those shots, takes the angle a second time, and is cut down in the process. One shot win basement, and again, it didn't really seem like the roam had that much of an effect. It wasn't cleared out until late, but even then, Benny, didn't really affect that round all that much.
Yeah, like I said before, that round that It seems like that site either goes really well for the defense or goes catastrophically wrong, like we just saw right there. Instead, the Rome really didn't do much. We saw early in the round, we saw one player go down to Arctic lose his life early. We had a player on the hash, but they died as well. They couldn't stop the push in. And sure, the Shumika launcher was nice to try and slow them down, but the long angles are so huge there. You saw a grenade kill later on too in the player and connector. The player inside 90 gets shot early, so they can't peek anymore, and they just push in a side and plant because they've gotten so many picks from the defenders who have to peek. You have to play aggressive on that site. It's like we talk about constantly, talk about Feg, you have to play aggressive at times, and on a site like that, it's so hit or miss, such a high risk, high reward situations like that.
And learning that lesson, IF will go to a site that is a lot more safe. Maybe not as risky as, say, master bedroom office, which isn't the best site for the defense, and not like basement where you have to take that risk on the roam. They go to kitchen dining, which might not be as good as bar and games, but still a very good site overall. That is mainly focused on a roam again, but more in the vein of, say, reading room on cafe that we just saw. You extend up to that top floor, hold down. Try and hold things down, but the difference here is, as opposed to reading, the benefit One Shot have on the attack is that they don't have to full clear out that top floor if, say, they attack from library side. Solar might be a little bit different, but for library, you open that double panel that leads into office, you open that double panel that leads into dining, and if you're able to hold it down and have the man advantage at that point, it can usually be pretty good. IF also aren't throwing any right hooks with their lineup so far, so it's a very viable strategy for One Shot, and appears to be what they're going for.
Yeah, they just need to make sure they clear the players in office so they don't have that vertical pressure if they push for that dining plant. As long as they can push the defenders out of office, kill them, push them out, wherever they have may do, it's still just the thing you need to start off with, because otherwise, well, you have also seen teams in the past too where even if they do get that dining wall open and that office wall, they play through that long haul in red. They play the long angles with, well, either 1.5 or 2x optics. If they have 2x optics, they usually only have 1.5s, and they still win the round based on just long kills and, utility do C4s and smokes. So I'm interested to see what IF's plan here is. Are they expecting One Shot to go for that play and expecting to take those long range fights and win them, or are they going to try and, for their lives, keep control of office, keep control of this vertical pressure, as he tried to electro claw that and try to do that.
I was about to say that might have been more registering his discontent and his disapproval than actually destroying that exothermic. The point had long past where you could use it. I still admire it though. That's pretty funny to watch. But that is still expected to happen on the top floor. You lose that wall, unfortunately. Again, it wasn't Kated, so a little bit unfortunate timing, but K-tricking exothermics is always difficult. But rotating downstairs and Swaylin able to open up this wall as well, this is where things start getting a little bit dicey for IF, because a minute 20 seconds are left, and One Shot have opened up both of the walls that they need, and if they even get one kill, say they get somebody on that master bedroom window, watching the rotates in between office and bedroom, or they say they find Vivid inside the site, or in this case, Subarctic down below on the Goyo, that's all they need to then push on in and try their luck playing those trades inside the site. Court's still hunting down below. Won't have much luck trying to find Subarctic kill. Instead, C4 open the wall. Still Kilo to finish him off. One Shot have that man advantage. Do they push in? Time will tell.
Is looking for picks one after another. They're pushing these players out. The players upstairs now have to try either push back through trophy or try and gain that vertical control. Viv with a great C4 though from that half wall. Stops the plant at first though. Giddy with another zone. Slippery takes out Giddy instead. But that top floor coverage is huge. The arrow and Inro are going off and stopping this, and they've stopped the play entirely. IF will take that round in those dying seconds.
I think you really got to give it to, well, really give it to a lot of players on IF, but Vivid definitely the big player there, not only getting that C4 kill, able to read into Swaylin, getting the bomb down behind that table, a second kill after that. Combined with that top floor coverage, as you said, they all pushed on out, tried to retake that top floor, ended up working. The gunfights go their way. And despite the fact that Kilo managed to get the kill on Subarctic down below, wasn't really a big factor in the end, because One Shot push in while they have the advantage. Vivid was still on the site, and unfortunately, he was playing a C4 op. He sends that C4 out. Diffuser is canceled out completely. Bomb is on the floor. One Shot decide to flood and go for the kills and go for the frags. And in this case, when they take those gunfights, IF end up winning them far more and far greater quantity than One Shot managed to win theirs. But it was a 1v3 at the end. So overall, One Shot got a lot of what they needed. Maybe they need to do a little bit more to either take the top floor or to take down Vivid. But whatever it was, they were close. But in the end, it was that little small amount remaining that allowed IF to take the lead.
Oh, good work job from IF, and yeah, the fact they weathered that storm, and Vivid was the sole person on site to just throw the C4, stay behind half wall, not peek out too far to get shot from that short hallway, and just stick by as that solid wall to stop the play and allow for the members upstairs to push on in and take that vertical control, like you said. So we go back to bar and games. And actually, now we've seen the defense win more than just bar and games. That's crazy.
Okay, it's kitchen dining. We still see the defense win that every night. Like, Chalet's attacker sided, but you're making it seem like it's a 6-0 every single time. Let's calm down. 1-5 maybe, but not 6-0. Anyway. But as you said, they're going back down to bar gaming. They have won this site in the past. Looked pretty good for IF as well. The big problem here, which, if you take a look at One Shot's lineup, they're running everything pretty much the same, was storms on those Flores. They based a lot on using those Rotero drones to clear out the mirror window inside a library or the shield on top of library stairs. But the problem is they never cleared out Inrio from that pillar's location, so all he did was every time a Rotero drone drove by, he shot it. He shot like 3 of them, and they were never able to clear out that shield until late in the round, in which Arrow just pushed back up and got a kill. Wasn't really able to do much in the end, and that was kind of the problem with One Shot's overall attacking strategy, and we'll need to see some improvements here, mainly taking care of Inrio inside a pillar, the big one.
Yeah, it's the kind of that triangle I talked about before. They have a player in library, a player on that pillar, a player in library stairs that are just kind of playing all in tandem to stop the push from the attack, and it's worked out. It's worked out great that first round. The question is now, so what is One Shot going to do to try and dismantle this triangle? The mirror window, the person on pillar, the player on library stairs. So far, they've been able to, in the past, destroy those shields at least, but it's not enough. They need to find another way to deal with these players besides just destroying that utility. Well, here's E1D comes out. The Rotero drones, or Ratero. Is it Rotero or Ratero? Rotero drones, right?
It's Rotero.
Rotero drones. They destroy the shields. They create that angle, but Arrow last time, even though the shield's gone, he still played that so well, and the shield's not going away. It looks like that Rotero didn't explode.
Looks like it did not. Kilo also took a hell of a lot of damage. It might have been from a C4. I don't know. We have the mute sound bug, unfortunately, so I don't know if that was a C4 or if he somehow naded himself. Doesn't look like he did. But there you go. It's not Arrow with the Vector to get the first kill. It's Giddy all the way down below who found Quartz on the Lion. So the ZE1Ds no longer going to be a factor for not only taking on the side, but clearing out players like Inrio, which, to be fair, they didn't seem like they needed in the end. Not only does Storms get the kill onto the player behind Pillar, but peeks on down, kills Subarctic. That was the player who got the final 2 kills, or almost the final 2 kills, flanking up main stairs in One Shot's first attempt of attacking the site. So a lot of key players for IF's defense have now been felled and taken off the board. Problem is, only 35 seconds left. How can they maneuver down? They have that man advantage. They can start flooding down the stairs. We know they're so good at that style of attack, but do IF have the controls necessary? They don't have. Well, they do have one C4. That's Arrow. Not entirely sure where he's playing right now, but he's dead, so it doesn't matter all that much. Vivid and Giddy, the only one left. They'll have to rotate into bar and make work inside of Wine, which now both of them have rotated into bar. Giddy's completely unread. A spray transfer by the Vector takes down Swaylin and Storms. Vivid peeks out, gets one more. 8 seconds left. It's the red zone, and Vivid wins it out. Beautiful 2v4 by Giddy and Vivid. And those were some clean shots between both those teams. That was a clinic in mechanical skill right there.
If only the sound was working.
If only the sound was working.
But either way, the big point that we saw an early kill from IF to get that first pick, but it started tumbling out of place. Using those flashes, they did not allow for the players on One Shot to push past the library stairs, push the player on pillar, get that kill in a 2v1, allow them to get the person in the library, dismantling that triangle one by one, getting the players they need. And as you said before, it became about a 2v4. And those last 2 players of Vivid and Giddy play so well. Giddy first, he was behind the bar, not read by the attack, gets 2 picks on the players pushing into the bar, and then he gets fragged out, unfortunately. But it was then Vivid positions up perfectly out in some games to deal with the player that killed him, get the refrag, and then a 1v1, you have the mirror window playing so well around it, gets that last kill. So that fact that you got a 2v4 was huge for IF. Though it was close there. That was a very close round for One Shot to win, though.
Here's what I will say, though. When the action of the game is ongoing, you can't really hear it. It's just like in these moments that it's obnoxious.
Wait, what do you mean?
The mute sound effect that is playing in your ears for minutes on end.
Oh, yeah. It's just that, yeah. It's just...
What else would I be referring to, Benny?
Well, I wasn't sure because you said that like I thought you meant like right now. It's like it's not happening right now.
It is happening right now.
No, I can hear it.
You're
I
throwing
hear
me
him
for a
running and
loop, man.
shooting.
You are.
What are you talking
But it's in
about?
the background. It's in the background. You can hear it right now.
Is it? I have tinnitus, so maybe that's why I don't hear it.
You know, that would be a problem in trying to ask if you hear something. Either way, Courts managed to land the opening pick. You should have told me that at the beginning. I wouldn't have engaged in that
I was in the military.
cross-examination.
I lost my hearing already.
That's fair. All right. Subarctic taken down early on. Not sure where Quartz was able to find him out. Might have honestly either killed him off a spawn peak or just got lucky pre-firing the double barricade, whatever it is, in a spot where you can't be traded because none of the attack is in the building yet. But right as I say that, Arrow's playing inside a pillar. They are defending. I believe that's Master Betterman office right now, if I am correct. Common position for a Jaeger to hold inside a pillar. He is
he's
spotted
so-
right now, and yeah,
I'm about
that's
to say,
kind of
he's
the
so
problem.
dead.
Active intel plus nades, not a good mix for somebody playing that position.
E1D, he was done for.
Yeah, there was no chance.
There was no chance there. So yeah, they first 2 picks looking really good for one shot take this round. It's only been a minute so far, and they've lost 2 players, both in Subarctic and Arrow, which were 2. They got a lot of kills, but still Slippery then kicks out Inrio on site. Giddy's off site, so Vivid's now got to do all the work by himself on site. He gets 1 pick, great shot into Slippery. Giddy's trying his best to run up those trophy stairs to help him out. He's coming with the shotgun. Plants going down from Swaylin. Can these last 2 players get off shotgun kill? It's actually, the vector to get that pick, but the plant's now gone down. It's a post-hunt situation. They have to rush to find these players who are now at this point off the site in positions to get these kills, whether it be on the balcony or elsewhere. There's 1 player still in the corner. I think it's Kilo sitting in the corner with that. Actually, can't tell who it is, but either way, this is very difficult. Vivid's pushing through the smoke. Giddy's trying to find a C4 onto somebody, but can't get that C4 off. Opens wall at least, looks around the corner, knows that someone's there, but either way, just Waylon takes Vivid down. Kilo with the other. 1 shot will take that round in pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah, once you get those 2 opening picks to start out, it's on Master Betterman Office especially, it's pretty easy to flood at that point. You can open up the heaven wall if you want to go in for the plan, or you don't need to at that point. You know it's probably a 5v3 on the site, and the moment they got that 3rd pick as well, it's like, yeah, let's just send it on in. We can hedge our bets on whether or not this works.
Now
we
that
can
we're on
probably
this screen,
guess.
I can hear it.
Come on, man.
I don't know
Like,
why. This screen,
come
I couldn't hear
on.
the other screen though.
I mean, it wasn't like super loud on the other screen, but it was definitely noticeable.
Yeah, it's just really noticeable right now. Like, guys, that is annoying. Actually, when
It,
does it go
it is
away?
it is the only it goes away. I think I don't exactly know how you work though. I believe just got word that it might be muted on the stream, so we might seem crazy to you right now if you can't hear the sound we're talking about because we still hear the mute sound bugs, so you might not be able to hear it. Either way, we've dedicated far too much time to a glitch.
Well,
I
we're
have for the-
going back
yeah.
to the basement though. Actually, no, we're not going basement. I was basement for a second, but they changed it actually, didn't they?
No, it is dining. And Benny, I have won this one. Victory on this site they have.
Yeah, they have indeed. They've taken this site before based on just Vivid playing so well by himself on site, and the other 2 members upstairs retaking that vertical control top floor and winning the round based on that. Even though, one shot had created pretty good execute. They'd push those players off top floor and open the wall up. They were going to push in, but a C4 stops that first plant, and then those players are able to take top floor somehow, even though I thought they'd be waiting for it, but they're able to somehow take top floor, kill the next player who goes for the next plant. And it seems like maybe one shot didn't have quite the number of kills to go for that plant in the first place.
That was the problem as well. Also, one thing here that might have actually, for IF, even though they won the round, they might have wasted a lot more time. Had these K's by Arrow worked, he has the left wall electrified, and then once he hears the thermite go down, he throws it above the top wall. This time, I think he's just putting them both on the wall to just keep it static. Don't try to get crazy with it. Just keep them on the wall, make them actively work to try to take them down. Probably better play style overall if you're also thinking about falling back a little bit later on, as we sometimes see teams do on this defense. But one shot are going to the exact same style of attack, starting in library, moving into piano, trying to contest inside of office as well. But the big thing is, can they minimize Vivid inside of the site? Because they got the opening pick, but if you still have that player with the C4, doesn't matter all that much, especially if it lands.
Very true, yeah, because he literally was the first stopping point that allowed those players upstairs to make the play into office and get that vertical control. So walls open up. They've opened up both the office wall, opened up both the dining walls. This is the first step to the plan as per usual. And the next step is going to be just making sure office is clear. And the first pick does go to Kilo, though, on to Arrow. I don't know where Arrow was, but that's one C4 off the board to make it more possible in then execute for them. And as soon as they want one shot, will go further in, make sure they can have firm control of office to stop that vertical control like last time. Drones coming through to make sure nobody's there. Now the members of IF have to back off and try and help out Vivid on site and take those long range fights. But you still have the shield here, which could be big actually.
They do have the shield, but unfortunately here, everyone from One Shot is slowly weaving their way through the cracks in IF's defense. Normally a full clear up top isn't the most advisable, but hey, One Shot are getting the kills right now, so who am I to judge the methodology by which they are attacking currently? Subarctic and Vivid, somebody different than Giddy, but still Vivid in a 2v4, 3 rounds in a row. Won the first one, but the second one didn't go so well, and now the third isn't looking the best either. Because right now, all of top floor has been cleared. One of the saving graces for IF's defense, the other was Vivid, but he's now out of a C4, and out of a teammate as well, and out of a life soon after. Kilo to round things out. By the way, Benny, we didn't mention this. Thatcher has been unbanned. Kilo is playing him. Not only did he get a 3K, but basically completely fast-tracked that top floor clear.
Actually, we haven't seen Thatcher the entire time until now, have we?
We have not.
Is he really needed even?
Well, I mean, maybe not needed, but we saw how much he helped just now.
True, he didn't make it. He did really expedite that play and make it quite a lot faster for his team. So true, he did help out. But really, I feel like there's more kills more anything at that point.
Yeah, that's true. But he EMP'd both the top walls and the bottom wall as well. So that part of the clear that's necessary, opening up that top wall, the bottom wall, got it done pretty quickly. I'd say that's pretty good. L85, good gun. Kilo killed 3 people with it.
Yeah, he did take out 3 people with it. I think it's big for the fact that he got Slippery. Was it Slippery on the Yana who was just on that window as well? Or maybe it was Inreal who was on the window inside. Actually, no, it probably is not real. It was probably, no. I'm saying it was, probably Swaylin or Slippery on that window, and Solarium was big too. The fact that they pinched out those players on top floor so well compared to that first time they attacked that site.
Now going to the side swap. Re-3. Actually, that's pretty good for the defense on Chalet, all things considered. For IF going into your attacks as well, pretty solid. At least just in theory. In practice, we'll have to see if it's kind of like Cafe, where the attacks have a little bit of a better time so far today in the playoffs so far. Giddy will also pick Thatcher first round out, so that operator we were highlighting he will bring, and it is a kitchen dining defense, the same site that we just saw in which Thatcher heavily expedited, like you said, Benny, the top floor clear. If IF want to, they could try to clear out all of that top floor like One Shot did. Might not be as necessary. I don't think you need to go as hard as you did. But if you can, it certainly worked. Problem here is it's a little bit different. One Shot running a Maestro instead of, they're just running more intel in general than IF were. So it might be a little bit more difficult to barrel on through like we saw One Shot do in the previous round.
Yeah, it's like IF didn't really try to take fights whenever they start opening those walls up. So is One Shot going to do the opposite and just be ready to take those fights when they open up these walls? Well, I'll say that there's already a member taking fight with Inrio here as he pushes into library. Looks like that was Slippery who backs back off into sight, expecting now someone to peek that double door that books hallway. And so, yeah, it seems like maybe One Shot would be more prone to staying alive in that site, or at least taking fights and making it difficult for IF to take control. I wonder if IF will try to do that same thing that One Shot did so well in the last round, pinching out those players upstairs, having those players on Slarm, having them on the double window, and making sure they can cut off these players and cut off the roamers from getting back to site. Oh, and there's the EMPs.
There you go. Vivid can use those X-Kairos pretty quickly, open things up. No Cade from One Shot, so they can't Cade trick. All they have is the mute, so you can open up those walls pretty easily. Might still have those mute devices able to jam some drones, but most important part is you got to open that wall. It's exactly what you wanted to see. Problem here is, I will say, they did expend a lot of X-Kairos on that wall upstairs, so if they want to go for a dining execute, they are a little bit low on hard breaching for moving down. All they'll have is 1 6 X-Kairos hole, and that's not enough to even crouch walk through, so a little bit worrisome on that front. But if their goal right now is clearing out up top, they have a lot of angles to work for. Same with Inrio pushing on up. Has some angles at his disposal to work with. Unfortunately, one player will rotate back into bathroom. That Storm's rotating out. Slippery's still the one to get the first kill, playing likely on that upstairs extension alongside his team. And despite the ground that IF have grabbed, One Shot still are the ones doing the most with this control. Hilo getting his pick. Slippery unmoved inside a bathroom. Inrio is quickly running out of friends to try to clear and grab this top floor with.
Yeah, one after another. Arrow will fight back the hill, playing that cutoff on the big window, takes out Storms. but it might be a little too late at this point. They're 2-man up. In Rio, though, with the killer zone. Never mind. We are tied up 3-3 in the dying seconds. Can they get Kilo as well on the trophy stairs? He's got the back off, run back to site. And really, like you said, there's only 6 X-Kairos pellets left. Arrow with another kill onto Kilo. He cuts him off from trophy. And so far, it could be, even without the X-Kairos, they may not need the hard breaching to win this round out on kills, as it's now down to Quartz and Suela to try and stop these attackers.
X-Kairos used on the hatch as well. Where are IF planning on making this happen? They will, I guess, drop down the hatch. Problem here is Quartz is right around the corner with the Alda, but fully blinded, won't be able to win the gunfight. He also sprints directly in front of the doorway, manages to get 1 kill, but there's 3 members of IF all looking at him. So he'll take down 1, they trade it out. IF take the first attacking round, and here's what I will say. Despite how slow that was, Benny, you gotta hand it to IF for making that 3v5 happen. Keeping cool under pressure.
I will say, how often did One Shot get on that big window?
On their attacks?
Yeah, on their attacks.
That's a good question. I actually wasn't keeping too close eye on that. I always assume people do it because it's like you just get on rappel and you get like free control. So I'm like, oh yeah, they probably had some big window.
But I don't remember anybody
like,
getting a kill on the big window, no matter what attack we go to on that, on their attack. Even when they did that pinch, when they lost that last attacking round, that was from the Slayer windows.
Make an interesting point. I can't consciously think of one, but in that round specifically, I think the bedroom window, as you're hinting at, was instrumental in their efforts overall.
Yeah, Arrow cut off the entire roam, got two picks from it. Oh, not 2 picks. He got 1 pick off of it, and they got a pick off trophy window. But still, it was still instrumental, and like you said, on just cutting the roam and making it difficult for the roamers to push back into office. So, hey, maybe they did learn adapting, making sure they use that control they need to. So we go on to Bar and Gains for our next site from One Shot, and this has been the site that usually most defense teams always win. And we'll see how if IF can do what One Shot did on that second try, where they're able to at least take control of pillar and stop that triangle, stop that the player in pillar having player in library system, player in library, and just wasting so much time. Though I say slow is the name of the game, though, unfortunately for IF. So I'm not sure how much it's going to work.
They do have 4 nades total to try and clear out that pillar position. So if they want to send somebody outside ego and try to send in the nade in on that way, probably be the best outside the office balcony. Sending the nade on that way, probably be their best bet. Not many better positions. You could also send one in from piano, but beyond that, those are about the only 2 spots. And unfortunately for them, it's going to be difficult to get to that window as long as Slippery is actively contesting the area and both points of entry in that regard. For right now, though, I say all of that, keep in mind, Inro is pushing library right now. Solo at the moment, nobody joining him on this library push, but he's trying to put some pressure on this side of things, make people playing inside a little bit more uncomfortable, and Giddy will now rotate into office, not only start opening up the floor to see if anybody's playing down below, but contesting that area as well. So a pinch already being set up and planned by IF to inevitably come out either onto Swalen or to Slippery or anybody playing on this top floor.
Actually, there could have been a moment that Einro maybe could have jumped in, but there's also floors below, so never mind, actually. Because Slippery wasn't actually there in just till now to play that position. But now it looks like he's going to be trying grenade it out. Grenade does a bit of damage, but does not kill him. Even D1 comes out, and there's no Rotaro drones, there's no Flora, so it's going to be difficult to use those grenades, especially with Mai and Jaeger available for One Shot. But I will say that also the EMPs are also big here, so they could still easily deal with those disc and ADSs, but so far I haven't done much.
It's a heartbreaker of a nade coming out. I thought that landed directly in Slippery's lap, but it only put him to low HP. Still, 1 bullet could be the end of him, or if anybody else wants to dedicate a nade. No, instead, Inro just jumps in, lands the pre-fire, Slippery take it down. You didn't even need the headshot for that one. That was just overkill at that point. And now Swan's positioning is a lot less secure because IF have successfully taken library, have somebody piano as well. Only problem here is Kilo has some holes made in the floor, able to spot Giddy through them, and now Inro is a lot more cautious of just directly challenging Swalen inside of that pillar's position. He will have to try to team up with whoever is pushing from piano. Right now, that's subarctic, so they do need to play in tandem, and that's especially important because we've only got 40 seconds left. One Shot have given up library stairs, but Swalen is still holding strong, playing his life. With Inrio on low HP as well, exactly, just a couple bullets can not only put him on the floor, but nullify him in this round. He's not finished off. Subarctic can clean him up, but the problem is, now that they're such low on time, they can't really dedicate that much time to picking up Inrio. They have to decide, do they want to go for the res, waste some time, or go for the execute? Arrow manages to get the kill, but with the Finka, I forgot to mention, that can pick Inrio back up, and now it's a 4v2 on the site. Quartz manages to spot one through the hatch, wastes all of his ammo while Kilo gets a kill, but both are on low HP. Just one bullet from any member of IF will seal their fate. Arrow finds one, Vivid getting the bomb down. Quartz has downed his one and only pressure. He downs Arrow as well. Can he finish him off? The 1v3 from Quartz. Low ammo, pulls out the shotgun, manages to make magic happen.
We've been seeing much of Quartz this entire game so far until this moment. What a clutch from Quartz, but back it up to the beginning of the round. It was still scary because, again, IF's big issue again and again is time. Time is always their biggest enemy. And it was up to Inrio to push into the library to gain some control for IF. And they still, at that point, into dying on still, I don't think they even destroyed the shield on top of the library. I don't think they even got to that point even. But they finally do get control of the top floor, but they have to jump back into site to try and take control of site, try and get the plant down. And in those dying seconds, it was Quartz to come off and drop every single player and push off and just, it was a 1v2 at that point. He got the kill before that too, though. And he just shotguns both players and denies the plant. And again, once again, IF can get those kills in those, in that instance where they're pressured to. But it just proves so difficult in those instances because you have no time to do anything to really flesh out a plan.
Now going here, if you're worried about IF fleshing out a plan, we've seen that this site hasn't been exactly the most defender-friendly in the game so far, and especially if IF are able to make use of that bedroom window, this should be one where even though they lost that last round, probably should have won it, but Quartz managed to clutch. This is one where IF so far in their previous tendencies are looking pretty good to come away with on. They like to make use of that bedroom position. They used it pretty well. They can gain some ground early on. It's just the transition that is difficult, and the transition is a lot easier on this site than it is on, say, a map like Bar. So for IF, I think even though you lost that round, it is even right now. I don't think they're going to be all too worried. But the one factor that could be different, you do have Storms currently playing down below. Could go for that C4 if IF tried to move into the site. And we need to see them consider that fact and not get too careless, because if they do, and Vivid tries to go for a plant, likely a C4 waiting if they don't clear them out.
Hey, they could go for Solarium push and push it down in the trophy and you deal with them.
I would love if they did a Solarium push. Please do it. We have
Solarium
not seen one today.
Bit, but I also haven't casted Chalet in a while.
In my opinion, the better push. I would love a Solarium push right now.
Tips and tricks with Lynx. He thinks the Solarium push is the way to go.
And my opinion is law.
And what about every start out? Inrio with the first pick on to Kilo, and that position is always big. That Book's window has always been a position that people have been picked off on. And one, again, C4. There's a C4 that we're just talking about. It's a C4 off that big window pressure, which is huge. Though I'm assuming Arrow is in that position to maybe take his place, but still, one player down. A refrag is huge there, at least trade, and push one for another. And there's those Finka boosts that those surges you might need for later on.
That is true, but I would say out of all the operators on the board, maybe not the worst one to lose in terms of utility. You'd rather have that Yana clone for not only her primary, but her secondary utility. The Hibana as well for hard breaching. If you need it for those EE1Ds as well, I'd rather have that as the cornerstone of my utility. Plus, the MP grenades are always useful. Never know when you might need one. But here's the issue. They died to Slippery because that C4, but Storms is still down below, and nobody is directly countering him. In fact, while they are going for that Solarium take, nobody appears to be downstairs at that window holding from below, so I'm worried that if they rappel in and they have the control to do it, that they might fall to a C4, which looks like what Storms is doing, but unfortunately it goes wide. He threw it and it did not land, so that impact you could have had is now nullified. You're also losing the man advantage as well. Slippery's fallen due to Giddy, and now Swaylin is the only one left inside the site since Storms is all the way down below. He will manage to find one on the Christmas window, and that is massive until he's traded out by Inrio. Storms has to make the long march all the way up the library stairs, or solar stairs, excuse me, and there's not much he can do with Vivid getting the bomb down, two members directly holding him in a crossfire. Inrio is the first and foremost attacker in that position. What is Storms to do? He's got to take down Inrio, but unfortunately for him, Giddy's on the opposite side of him, waiting for him to walk back up those stairs, and I have to take the lead once again.
Yeah, that round is a big one. And plus, why Master Bedroom can be so difficult. Having the player on the big rappel, having members expecting people to peek out that Book's window, and a lot of teams will put that utility towards the library side, but like Link said, Solarium push a lot of times can go pretty well, especially when you have that control and you have the members ready, especially when they take control of bathroom. You can cut off the defense from rotating, pushing back into bedroom, both on bathroom and on the big window rappel. It makes it so difficult for defense to move around and to really stop that plant. Though you did see Storms blow that C4. He threw a C4 a little bit slow, though, could not deal with that second player on the big window rappel. Has to go up in that 1v4 and try and take back sight, as the rest of his friends have been taken out in those regards because of how many different angles that the attackers were creating from IF. So unfortunately, they lose that round out. We go downstairs to kitchen and dining, which, like we saw from that first round, the big thing we talked about is that big window rappel. Are one shot going to put something in place to deal with that and allow for those people upstairs to play freely?
Interesting 6-pick on IF. Normally we don't see Arrow on Hard Breach. If we do, it's on Maverick, but he's banned, so. Plus, we've also only really seen Arrow on Lion and like on Flank Watch throughout these playoffs so far. So him 6-picking to Thermite is interesting just for that fact, but also because on Dining, it's not really a map you really need too much hard breaching. You open up that top wall and that bottom wall, and maybe you get the hatch, but beyond that, you don't need much. But IF have decided to dedicate 2 whole positions. Vivid, of course, because he plays that support. But they've also decided to bring Arrow onto that Thermite, letting go of that Lion. I get the idea of it. You know, Thermite is better for opening those walls, and Vivid's definitely comfortable on Hibana, but letting go of those EE1Ds, I don't know, Benny. I get that they like the Finka, but
it's talked about how they didn't have much hard breaching when it came to the round, though.
No, I know, but Lion's the one you want to get rid of? I mean, I don't know who else I would replace. Clearly, they're valuing Definka. No, I like that Lion. I feel like it just makes those executes, those floods that IF like to go for, a lot more secure in the late round.
Could be true. That does make sense too. So I kind of agree with you there. But like I've seen the E1Ds, but this round specifically, the E1Ds weren't really that big of a deal because they didn't have to really push up anybody because how big the big window rappel was, how much pressure it put, how much cutoff it was. So I kind of see why they got rid of the line here for this site. And you know, having the exothermic charge is big because, like you said in that first round, having only X Gyros charges to make, you know, open up the office wall, open up that dining wall. It's not enough. Having 16 X Chaos pellets is not enough for that endeavor. So, well, so far we're in the first middle round. Nobody's really been killed yet, but we have a lot of damage to Quartz and Kilo to start us off. And Vivid's trying to open this wall, but it looks like it's being electrified by a mirror. Actually, was it electrified, or how did they destroy that actually? Oh no, it was probably muted. My bad.
Well, either way, that is one benefit of bringing that redundancy and hard breaching. They can focus on that bottom wall, use the exothermic to open it up, and the top wall maybe not being as important to them, they could use the X-Kairos and risk a couple getting destroyed. Thankfully for them as well. Quartz on that Maestro, who was the last alive on the previous dining attack, who could use those Evil Eyes, maneuver around. He's taken down first off the board, and now Slippery getting aggressive on that bathroom window, or just trying to rotate back, is cut off by Giddy. So IF are having a much more successful clear of the top floor than they did previously, because you recall, I believe they started out down 2 men, and now they're up 3. Drastically better odds than what we saw prior. Kilo's still alone up top. Bullets flying every which way will force him to rotate back down. It looks like Giddy might be the one to catch him as he rotates back, but he misses the timing by just a little bit, but it's not too much in the long run. He's still got that 5v2 advantage, but as you heard from Benny, somebody's rotating up main stairs.
Swaylen on the smoke has walked up main stairs, going for a retake at the top floor, as the rest of the members of IF are pushing down trophy stairs into kitchen. Wait, Vivid's about to get shot, I think. Oh no, he's pushing back. The timing here is crazy. Everybody's walking around and Swaylen doesn't see anybody just yet, but he may be waiting for a good position. Oh wow, what? I didn't even see that shot. Even Swaylen upstairs, 2 on the Giddy. This could be it, but no, Kilo's down from Arrow, so now it's Swaylen in a 1v3. He has the top floor now. Do they know? There's the intel. They know he's up top, so they know where he is. Can he still make this happen though? 4 seconds left. Plant is going down. Smoke cancers dropped out to try and kill him, but does he have the ping to see where they're planting? He's looking around, sees the feet of one of the players, but can't make the shots. Now the post plant, 1v3 post plant for Swaylen. There's not much he can do here. He's got to drop down and find 3 players to kill who've all evacuated the premises. And he's dead.
Yeah, shame for Swaylen right there. He had the vertical hole, and he actually, I think, saw one of the members of the attack, but Vivid was just out of his line of sight to look at to try and deny that plant. So unlucky for him. That was the play, and I will say that was probably one of the better post plants, at least in terms of just individual moments, like Kilo just smoking that guy on Solar Stairs.
I didn't even see it even.
We cut to it right as it happened, like right as the bullet left the gun. So that was still a very nice play. Swin also getting that kill, but in the end, there were just a lot more problems that happened before that, and obviously that puts Swaylen and Kilo in that 2v5. First and foremost was, well, to start off, IF just opened up the bottom floor, okay? Got that solved. Don't have to worry about it anymore. They start focusing on that top floor, and Benny, what do you know? The bathroom window, the bedroom window, all of those windows and all of those cutoffs that I have held previously, one-shot walk in front of them or challenge them and get cut down. It basically, that attack, the plan that had a flawed execution we saw the first attempt went exactly according to how it was written down in the second attempt.
Yeah, I would say that was just perfect. He had members just waiting and ready to cut those numbers off. It was kind of, I would say strange, no, because one shot in situations, especially on Chalet, you have to take aggressive times. You have to try and take fights and stop these players from in these positions, whether it be on the bathroom window, the big window. Though you can do it in different ways, though they try to do it head on, which I guess is the one shot way in a lot of times. Just head on, take on the fights, and they lose them all, which kind of makes sense. It's Chalet. It's so difficult to win those fights against members who are on the balcony, unless you go to Book's window, and usually there's people who rappel onto that balcony and wait for that peek. Or if you peek the big window, it's a guy who's barely see the top of his head peeking the bottom of the top of the window. So I can see why it happened, but really, IF have already gotten to 3 rounds on this attacking half, and they're on match point. And so far, a lot of these rounds have been very dominant. They've used a lot of different angles we didn't see for one shot.
Though if there has been a safe haven for one shot on their defenses so far, it has been this bar gaming site. Only one they have won out of their 3 attempts at a defense so far, but Benny, as you recall, it was a 1v3 from Courts that got them there. So if you think about it, they haven't really had a good showing on any of these defensive sites so far, in at least in outcome for 2 of them, but in overall play in all 3 of them so far. They took that time out. They had time to go over what went wrong. First and foremost was, I think, losing control of libraries so quickly. Of course, Slippery's in a difficult position in there. I will give that. Not always easy to play that spot, but they lost control of libraries so early that not only was the player on top of the stairs in danger, the player pillar is in danger, and those are the 2 pillars, no pun intended, of your bar defense and your extension up top.
Yeah, I guess too. We didn't see a lot of Thatcher from one shot, but now that the Thatcher's on board, you can easily deal with that player in the corner of library because you can just EMP the ADSs, EMP the disc, and just throw a grenade in there and deal with Slippery. So last time Slippery was playing aggressive, and Inrio was in this position. If Inrio drones out early, he could just jump straight into library. Well, and never mind. Well, also Vivid kills Quartz early on as Quartz just peeks the game's window. It's also something different that didn't expect to happen. So as long as somebody isn't going to stop him from blow, but Swaylin takes out Giddy and takes control of library. C4 comes out. There goes one of the drones, but he will take that place of Swaylin at the last. Well, Swaylin will take his place like he does here before.
I was going to say, that is a pretty impactful kill from Swaylin, taking down that Thatcher. Problem is, he's quickly found out by an angle held, I believe that was Arrow. Slippery does answer back on the roam, evens it up 3-3. And I'd say, overall, this benefits one shot for the moment. But for the moment, that is the point there. Because right now, they can hold on to these positions, like outside a pillar, because they've rotated out of the exact spot now, or on top of library stairs. But it's for the moment because we still have 1:40 seconds left, and IF have plenty of utility. They have 2 nades. They have X-Kairos if they want to use them. 2 E1Ds and 3 flashes as well. They have the burn. They have the primary utility. They have the secondary utility as well with those nades. There's plenty they can do with the time they have remaining to find these remaining 3 players, but Storms is getting aggressive. And if he gets 1 kill on one of these players inside of Library, that can open things up and allow one shot to come back.
Yeah, you said they have utility and they have the means to do it, but again, it's always with IF is putting it in play. We've seen them before take time to create and execute, but in certain times like now, I don't know if they're actually taking time or if they're stalling out. As we see them, well, let's drone out, use that Yana clone, use that Gemini Replicator to see who's on site. Arrows relocating to another place, maybe towards that front door. As it looks like they may be trying to abandon that vertical play and push straight onto site, trying to bypass any aggression from one shot, as Inrio's looking to maybe push code check too as well. But Arrow is actually on the far side of the map. This could be another play that one shot isn't expecting.
Might not be. There is a Banshee there to signal he is coming, and the Gone 6 will definitely signal that somebody might be coming from the dining room hallway. Slippery is there to try to counter him out, but with the player playing inside a coat check as well, they can try to pinch him out, but they don't even need it. Arrow just peeks, wins that fight. Now, Vivid might feel a little bit more comfortable jumping in, but I imagine he's going to rotate as Enrio and Kilo trade. Storms is retaken up top. Have IF read into this? Well, it doesn't matter. He drops down into gaming, and so Arrow and Vivid trying to enter on through bar will spot him at the last second. Doesn't matter in the end. From losing the opening duel, getting aggressive, to stalling out to the end, IF win map number 2. Their opponent's map pick is Chalet. Benny, we get a coastline decider. Not casted a coast decider in quite a bit. Coastline in general, actually.
I haven't casted coast in a while. When was the last time like these teams played coast even, actually?
IF in one shot? Like, never.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I think last time we saw like one shot play coastline was like when they were Lenny GG.
And last time that we saw this core play coastline for IF was in the second place match between them and Kansas City Pioneers. So coastline has been a long time coming between these two teams. Benny for Chalet, I mean, again, kind of like we saw in Cafe, it was just some solid play from IF. They obviously didn't have the best defensive round, but they got all the rounds they needed to on the disadvantaged side. Then they got to their attacks, and they were clean, they were well thought out, and unfortunately, one shot were not able to put enough obstacles in their defense. I mean, seems kind of cut and dry to me. Nice set, clean 7-4.
Definitely agree with that one. Definitely some investigation files just new. Chalet a little more better than one shot when it came to some of those executes, which is surprising, seeing as they played pretty well against Parabellum this season.
And that's the nice thing, because we had a nice, clean, cut and dry Cafe. We had a nice, orderly Chalet. But we have map 3 at Coastline, and that's where all bets are off. But until then, we'll throw it back to the analyst desk so they can talk about IF's again. Clean win, 7-4 on their opponent's map pick.